Hi, Cecile.
Hi, Umi.
Please tell us how you sing your rubato and the role of the pianist who accompanies you at this time. Wow.
That is
Jeez, that's a good question.
Interesting. That's such a good question. I have a lot of thoughts about rubato, actually. I think that I have a tendency well, first of all, I think in all singing, I want things to sound spoken. So I feel like I like to sometimes get ahead of it, go really fast, get that sentence out. And sometimes it's a little bit fast because I feel like a lot of people expect rubato to mean we're going really slow, right? Don't you feel?
Yeah.
But actually sometimes I just want to get it out and have it feel like I was saying it, and then maybe take a moment later for some kind of a dramatic pause, I would say. And what was the second part of the question?
And the second part of the question
the piano
is the role of the pianist who accompanies you at that time.
What was I was actually talking to Sullivan about this. We talk a lot about this.
You talk a lot about this?
Yes.
Great. You guys should be doing live streams. Actually, Cecile did have a Patreon for a brief time, and it was awesome.
We did have a Patreon. So I'll sometimes I tell him, I go, beat me there. He's like, oh, okay. I don't know if that makes any sense.
That okay.
Beat me to the next chord.
So okay, so I think what it means. Well, I don't know. I guess what I'm guessing you would mean is that.
Don't wait for me.
Yeah, don't wait. Yeah, you just.
But also, do wait for me sometimes.
Look at me. I didn't say anything. I just froze. I just held. I was like, I think it means, and I didn't have anything to say. And then you thankfully saved me. Yeah. Well, what maybe I think that there's maybe a misconception with rubato. I think that for rubato to work, like the melody has to have its own backbone, and the accompaniment has to have its own backbone. They're not necessarily both yielding all the time. Like they're both going. They both have their own backbone. They both have their own trajectory.
Yes.
They both have their own kind of gravity. And like sometimes they intersect and sometimes they don't. And I think if they each have their own trajectory, then it will sound incredibly together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Is that what you mean by beat me to it? Because if the piano plays a downbeat, it's not the end of the world if like the melody is not at the downbeat yet. As long as everyone has their own backbone.
Yeah.
Something.
I feel like also part of it is kind of like if someone was talking and sometimes it's nice when it's like, okay, someone's saying something and then there's, oh yeah, absolutely. Like that's the piano.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then what about this? Oh, well, I thought that this and this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it can be kind of literal like that.
And sometimes I will say this. Sometimes I feel like in certain, depends on how dense the lyrics are. If the lyrics are very dense, we don't need anything, really.
Yeah.
I feel like just knowing what the key is and letting the lyrics sing, because even over singing lyrics that are too dense is bad, because then it's like we didn't get what the hell that was, what we're saying. And sometimes, oh my gosh, I have so much to say about this. Sometimes if a lyric is funny, you have to get out of its way too, as both the singer and the pianist playing this rubato section. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So you're saying don't linger on it. Don't linger, or don't spend too much time on. Don't put too much weight on something that you think is funny. It could actually be funnier if it just moves.
If it moves, or if there's a silence after it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then it's like, okay, punchline, audience laughs. And I can tell if a rubato section is going well. I mean, not always, because some audiences don't laugh. But I feel like laughter at certain funny sections is proof that the rubato section is going well. Like that we're doing it well. And if it's not, if it just kind of washes over people just like a beautiful melody, then it feels like it doesn't have the angles that we need to get what it's saying. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's about timing and space leaving.
Yes.
Timing and space leaving and a kind of spoken quality, I guess.
Maybe,
like the same way like a comedian could read a line and it could be really funny.
Exactly.
But then a non-comedian could read the same line and it would just sound like, is that a joke? Or it would
Yes.
sound like nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like I listen to a lot of audiobooks. You can tell when someone understands what they're saying. So I think, conclusion, moral of the story, I think it has to, like, both people that are playing a rubato section, for me, I don't know, other people don't care. But for me, it's like we both have to understand what these words are saying, where the high points are, where the interesting points are, where the dense points are, where we need to, like, let go of it a little bit. And then obviously it can change every day, that's the greatest part of it.
Yeah.
It's not fixed in stone.
Yeah, it depends on maybe what you want to highlight one day, or what speaks to you more. What
you want
words?
to highlight.
Yeah.
How about you highlight?
I know. I can highlight the pianist.
Stuff.
The pianist can highlight too.
Yeah.
So that was So there's something that's definitely, and this is interesting for a pianist especially, because all these questions have not very much to do with notes and chord changes.
Yeah.
So it gets you thinking about extra musical qualities kind of right away.
Yeah.
And in a healthy way, in a healthy way.
I guess what I'll say if I'm talking more about the piano is I'll say that for a rubato section, I think if it's a pianist and a singer, the pianist actually doesn't need to play as much as he thinks he needs to play.
Mm-hmm.
Space is fine. Silence is fine. Speed is fine. I feel like moving through it quicker is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you have to play with each other and listen to what the singer is doing, but that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting, and something about I can say as a pianist playing with you is that I feel like the way that you, and I'm learning more about this every day, but the way that you sing actually invites the pianist to leave more space because you're singing the melody so strong. It's never like, oh, I better play a B flat major 7 chord on 1 now, otherwise the whole thing's gonna fall apart. I mean, like, but sometimes that can happen, and that's okay too. Like
100%.
That's okay.
No, and sometimes I'm like, help me, please.
Yeah, and I think maybe it's the pianist's job.
Drowning.
I think it's the pianist's job to sense that. When do you need to help? But when would helping more be not helping?
Exactly. You got to be kind of a great reader of
minds,
of minds and people and body language and vibe. I think as a musician in general.
Yeah, you have to pick up on a lot of extra musical things. And, I could say that, so obviously you play a lot with Sullivan Fortner, right?
I do.
And Sullivan's great. Every pianist has a sort of Sullivan Fortner complex, as you may or may not know.
I don't know this.
But he sets the bar unbelievably high. And
that's so funny.
And so I don't, I record our gigs sometimes, but not all the time. But especially at the very beginning. I remember the very first gigs that we played were at Marion's Jazz Room.
Yeah. Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. And they were the very first.
Did we do the first gig was duo?
No, it was with
Trio.
Sush and Marvin.
Oh,
it was
okay.
quartet with Sush and Marvin.
No drums,
no
percussion.
Drums. Yeah.
Interesting.
And
it was like a Nat King Cole kind of thing. But not
really.
What
was it? I don't know. It was cool. It was cool, and it worked.
Guitar, bass, and piano.
And Benny Green was opposite us. Do you remember?
He was. I do remember.
And I remember I recorded those gigs, and I was listening back, and I thought about quitting. I thought about quitting music.
You're lying.
I thought.
Glenn.
Well, I thought this is it. This is it for me. But no, but about overplaying is I was playing the chord changes, and this ties into Sullivan in a way, and it's going to be a very high compliment for Sullivan, is that, as you know, he plays a lot of piano. He can play a lot of piano textures, and
if he wants, he can get all over there.
Yeah. But he manages to play so much piano without overplaying, which is miraculous. And I remember listening back to the gig at Marion's and thinking, like, I would played one chord, and that one chord was so bad. Like, overplaying in the piano can happen in many ways. Overplaying can happen like playing a million notes, but sometimes like just one chord played at the wrong time with the wrong melody note, like one poorly timed chord can be overplaying.
Glenn,
and you know what I'm
nuts.
talking about? No, but you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but I think you're extremely hard on yourself. You're being crazy.
No, but it's a true thing. I think this is important as a pianist. You have to look out. Like, you have a lot of freedom, but
so many options,
and
right?
a lot of options, and you just have to have a sense of what is needed and what's not needed. And sometimes overplaying can just be clunky timing, not just quantity of notes. And that's something.
Timing.
Yeah,
timing is huge.
Timing is huge.
I've been thinking about that a lot also for singing.